We in here. It's your boy Gutta Caine, the Gutta Man. You tuning in to CIRV'N IT RAW Podcast, the one and only.
Oh yeah, that new dude in the house. Yeah.
I don't thank you, little nigga, but I'ma show you how. Little nigga. Tell mama don't be mad how you get it.
If you don't know, money makers rule the world, so come with us.
I don't thank you, little mama, but I'ma show you how to. Little mama.
If you don't know, money makers rule the world. Math class, scientific study.
This is Gutta Caine, and you're watching CIRV'N IT RAW Podcast. Today we are doing something a little different. I'm interviewing your regular host and my husband, Gutta Caine.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing?
Well, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine, actually. You know what I'm saying? I do want to send out some condolences down to L.A. You know, last week we lost Slim 400 from Compton. You know what I'm saying? That whole 400 block. Shout out to him and YG. So I just wanted to put that out there, sending blessings and everything down to L.A. That was another big hit for hip-hop. So I just want to put that out there.
It was. Well,
What you got?
let's get into this. So, I guess let's start by telling the people where you're from and how you ended up here in the PNW.
Alrighty. So I'm originally from Jonesboro, Louisiana. Long Lil Snoop. And then so I was born in Jonesboro, and then about like my dad actually married my mom. He was in the military, and he was either stationed in Germany or Korea. I can't remember, but after he was they ended up sending him to Fort Lewis. So after he married my mom, when I turned 3, you know what I'm saying, we all packed up and moved to Fort Lewis. And we stayed in Fort Lewis all the way until I was about 10 years old. And then he retired from the military.
Finally.
Yeah.
You were really struggling with that.
I know. I was like, dang, it's hard like when you try to talk a lot over the same time. But now he retired. And when he retired in '93, then we just moved back to Jonesboro, and I stayed there until I graduated high school. And then about like right after I graduated, I joined the Army myself, trying to like follow in his footsteps pretty much. And then and because I was already familiar with Washington State and Fort Lewis, I just requested to come up here, and so they brought me up here. And I stayed up here. I went back and forth, you know what I'm saying, for a little minute, but I've been up here ever since, pretty much.
And was able to meet me. Anyway.
I was gonna make it about you. Now, all right. Ooh, shit, that's strong.
So how did hip-hop enter your life?
Hip-hop? So hip-hop entered my life from like a real young age. When I was about 6, 7, my brother used to always play once we moved to Washington, it's like we had an ear for pretty much everything. So we would listen to not just West Coast music, but you know, East Coast music, down south music, whatever. Mm-hmm. So he bumped like a lot of like DJ Quick when he came out with Tonight. He bumped Big Mike, you know what I'm saying? That was from Rap A Lot with Player. You know, I heard those as a real early age. EPMD, Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? Ain't No Half Stepping, like all pretty much like anything you could think of that's like that beginning. I wouldn't say like all the way to the beginning, like 70s, like 70. You know what I'm saying? Not the 73 when it was born, but you know, kind of like the early 80s and late 80s, yeah, and going into the 90s is when I kind of like really started getting. And I was about, like I said, I was about like 7, 8 then.
Okay.
So
and so, what were some of your favorite artists during that time?
At that time, and like some of my favorite artists was like I said, I always liked DJ Quick. I was always a fan of NWA. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, you know what I'm saying? I was like I said, I was also into the New Jack Swing because that was like the new thing that was like popping, you know what I'm saying? So I listened to like a lot of R&B singers too that was like kind of tapping into that. So I mean, but music in general, you know what I'm saying? And then I like Daz Effects, like like I said, I was just into like music like period, you know what I'm saying? Mr. 3-2, and Big Mike, all them, you know what I'm saying? They did Convicts.
So when you fell in love with music, was that instantly something that you were like, okay, this is I want to do, or was this more like a journey into that?
It was more a journey into it, like because when I was when I was 7 and I was first introduced to it, I still was like, I was just a fan of it. When I moved from Washington and we moved back to Louisiana, and when I got in like, I'll probably say like eighth, I was like in the 8th grade, and that's kind of like when No Limit was really popping that like down there and stuff like that. But it's like once I got like the beginning of high school, like when I was in like the 9th grade, my cousin from Bucky, Louisiana used to come and stay with me, my cousin Slim, and matter of fact, it's crazy. Well, his nickname was 7. And so, but he came and stayed with me, and he could freestyle, him and my other cousin, Hydro. And Hydro was my cousin on my mom's side, but Slim was my cousin on my dad's side. And so they would come and stay with me during the summertime, you know what I'm saying? And they was like good at freestyling. And so I had some issues with some cats from where Slim was from. And so I had wrote, I was good at writing poetry. So I wrote like a little, like a little verse or whatever, poetry we're gonna call it. And I was like, it was called My Shit List, and I was like, you know what I'm saying, kind of dissing them on it or whatever like that. And so that was the only thing I had ever wrote. And so I was always like, oh, I want to start recording people. So I was always into like recording people. And my mom, she used to have like this little tape deck, and they had a built-in mic. And so, you're saying you put the tape that you, like the beat you want to play, you know what I'm saying, you put that on the side A. Side B, you had the one you're going to record. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, you just, press play, record on this one or whatever like that and wrap it to the mic. You know what I'm saying? So I would either do that, or we'll have like another stereo where we played the music off of, and then we just had the recording tape in the one that had the built-in mic. But either way, we would do that. And they was always good at freestyling. So I was recording them one day, and they was freestyling to that, I think it's that Lil Kim Drugs, that boom 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 boom, that beat right there. They was rapping out that, and while they was freestyling, they fell off. And so, you know what I'm saying, Slim was like, oh, come on, you know what I'm saying, he used to call me Milkman. So he was like, come on, Milkman, won't you get him? And so I just picked up that piece of paper and just started rapping. And it came out pretty good, I was on beat. So you know what I'm saying? So right then, that's when I was like, hey, maybe I could do this too. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of came out like that.
Okay. Well, since you brought up the nickname Milkman, if y'all don't know, this man has had so many different names.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah. So, up until now, you go by Gutta Caine. So, how did that come about?
So, like, you want to know all the names to this point, or just...
We don't need to know all of them.
Okay. Or just the Gutta Caine.
Let's talk about Gutta Caine right now.
Okay, So originally when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start like really rapping and stuff like that, I had moved back to Louisiana, and this was like in 04, 05, and I had hooked up with Slim B. Shout out to Slim B. And I started, at the time I was going by P Gutta, and I got to P Gutta actually before I moved back to Louisiana. When I was in the Army, we had went to like the field and stuff, like we was actually fixing to get shipped overseas. And so we had to do like this training, and we was like in this thing called a Dust Bowl down in California. And it was like, we was out there for like 30 days, man. It was like no shower, nothing. So we came back, and I had a shaving profile at the time. I couldn't shave, and but mine had expired. So they knew that, and so my section chief, he wanted me to shave. I was like, let me just take a shower first, then I'll shave, you know what I'm saying? And so he was like, nah, you can't do that private and all this stuff. He was trying to get me to get a parade rest and all that type of stuff. And I was like cussing him out, and I was like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. And, you know what I'm saying, F y'all and all this, just kind of all kind of shit. And then And then so then like some captains started coming over to like high ranking officials, and I was like cussing them out. You know what I'm saying? I was calling them everything I could think of. You know, it was like about, I don't know, like 6 or 7 of them, man. I'm talking about like colonel, like lieutenant colonels and colonels. Like they was like all up on me, like, you know, you gonna do this, we gonna, you know. And so my homeboy Playboy, he was like he started calling me like Private Gutta. You know what I'm saying? And so like it was like it just kind of caught on, so everybody started calling me Private Gutta. So when I started rapping, I just like, you know, I like that, but I ain't like the whole private thing. So I just like, you know, started shorting it to P Gutta. And then then I like Pimp C. I've always been a fan of Pimp C. So, you know, when Pimp C died, I think it was like 07. I always liked his alias, and he used to go by Tony Snow. And so I wanted something that was like kind of like you know, like pay homage to his nickname, yeah. So, and then my dad was the only one that could call me Tony at the time. So I used to I wouldn't let nobody else call me Tony but him. And so after a while I was like, oh, I'm just, you know, Tony Kane, like, you know, like cocaine, you know. And so he had Tony Snow, I had Tony Kane. And so what ended up happening though is people up here got used to the Tony Kane, so everybody used to call me Tony Kane.
Right.
But when I would go home, or talk to people back in Jonesboro, it was P Gutta. And so I was like, okay, I couldn't deviate between which one I like, because I like both names. So I just like was like, put them together, and came to Gutta Caine.
Nice. Okay, so let's take it back to the music. Would you say that you were self-taught?
Yeah, I was self-taught because I could write poetry. But Playboy taught me how to count bars though, because before I didn't know how to count bars. I could only I could listen to an instrumental or listen to a beat, and it just, you know, beats all have a breakdown where it's like it goes like you had a chorus and it's like all the instruments and everything's playing, and then
it goes away.
When you're supposed to rap, right? So when I would rap, the first person I was rapping with was this cat named Thug Child. Shout out to Thug Child. He's like Jonesboro, so he's like Jonesboro's Soulja Slim. All right. And so that's the best way I can describe him. but he cold on the mic though, you know what I'm saying? He cold as a mic. Cold as a mug on the mic. And so he would you know, he knew how to like count bars, but you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know how to do it. So I would just like write all the way until like the beat broke down, and I'd be like, okay, that's a verse. When I met Playboy, when I moved up here, Playboy was like, nah, this how you know, this is what a 16 is, this is what 8s is, and you know what I'm saying? He showed me how.
Basic song structure.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So would you consider yourself more of a writer than a freestyler?
A writer.
Okay.
I can't freestyle for nothing. Shout out to Lil Flip though, cause Flip can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like him and Lil Kiki and all them. I grew up on them too, on their music, like Big Pokey and ESG and all them. And they could freestyle like no other, but I couldn't do it. For real.
I get it. It's hard.
Oh yeah.
It is very hard.
I can do that.
I can freestyle in the sense that I can say some shit that rhyme, but will it make sense?
I don't even try. That's why I let shit. Hey, I give big ups to, you know what I'm saying, cats that can do that shit, but I can't.
Okay. So when you were doing music, what was your creative process like?
Pretty much I would just like listen to the beat and then figure out, like, if it was just me, I would try to figure out what how did the beat make me feel, or whatever. But I was always the one that would I would listen to like other rappers, like I would like Tupac would like do like an interview or something, you know what I'm saying? And he'd be like on like one of his interviews, I remember he said he was like just write with like what you went through, like whatever you would go through that like throughout that day, like write about that, you know what I'm saying? Or if you went to like the club last night, whatever the situation was, you know what I'm saying, with the club, whatever, like write about that. So I would, you know, like listen to other people like say certain stuff on interviews or whatever, but like, oh shit, let me try that, you know what I'm saying, or whatever like that. So that's kind of, I'd like listen to the beat, be like, what kind of vibe am I getting at? You know, do I feel like someone talk about a girl, or talk about this money, or talk about, you know, what I'm dealing with in the world or life or whatever, financial, whatever it could be, and I would do it that way. If I was writing with someone, then I would just vibe off, you know what I'm saying, what that person was doing. So if that person was like for instance, like when we did I did a song called Money Feels with Rock. Shout out to Rock. And so like Rock was sitting in the studio with me and we was playing the instrumental, and it kind of gave us like this old UGK like type of, you know, type of vibe. But he was singing like, he was like, it had like breaks in it, and he was like something like Money Feels. He was like singing it. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I would listen to him. I was like, hold on, that sounded kind of tight. So I kind of wrote it down. And then after that, I would be like, you know, big money, Fetty, and da-da-da. And it was like, that's how money feels or whatever like that. And so it's like, once I like wrote down, you know, like how many syllables and words and stuff I needed, and then I rewrote it to make sense for him to come in with that's how money feels. And then once we had the chorus, then we just wrote our verses around that, and that was it. It was just worked that way.
Okay. So, what made you stop doing music?
It's just hard to blow up from it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for Jonesboro, it's already hard. You know what I'm saying? Because like you got so much talent in Jonesboro, but it's like after Snoop passed away, I feel like other people or other rappers that's already on, go back to these towns, just go back to Jonesboro, you know what I'm saying, and look at all the talent that you have in Jonesboro. You know what I'm saying? And you can, you know what I'm saying, you got a whole bunch of diamonds. Like if you feel like, if you in hip hop and you feel like Snoop was a diamond, which he was, okay, you got a whole bunch of other diamonds. You got, like I said, you got Slim B, you got Benji Banks, you got Drano. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of cats that are diamonds out of that area. You know what I'm saying? And so it was already difficult to come out of there. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, like, you had rappers before me in Jonesboro. You had rappers that came after me, but you didn't get Snoop until when? What, like 20 something?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, I can't remember what it was, but you know what I'm saying? And then when you come to Washington State, or basically the Northwest, you don't have nobody out of the Northwest except you have Mix-a-Lot, you have Macklemore, and you got Lil Mosey, but that's it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of, and you got like I said, a ton of talent here as well. And so it'll get you to the point where you just feel like maybe I should just try something else. You know what I'm saying? But
I get it. So is there anything that you miss about being an artist?
Just the collaborations, the vibe that you get when you're working with other artists. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, you know, you can be in a studio with an artist, and it just like that connection that you have when y'all like coming up with different songs and shit. You just be like, it's like one of them feelings where you just wish you could recreate that type of situation like over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, yeah. Well, that's really it though.
Okay. So let's bring it to the podcast now. How did that come about? What made you, or what was your idea for this?
So originally, I was trying to do a weed podcast with me and my homie. Scorpio. We was trying to do a weed podcast.
This is bugging me.
Oh. Okay. So we were trying to do a weed podcast originally with my homeboy, and it was called The Peaceful Chronicles. And you know, we were just talking about like just anything that was trending. But I kind of felt like my heart wasn't in that, because it's like when you start talking about everything that's trending, sometimes your personal opinion can overshadow, you know, actual facts, or vice versa. Okay. And so I just was like, okay. But hip hop has always been something that I could like talk about. A lot of people be like, "Oh man, you know, you like the Bible,
encyclopedia."
You know what I'm saying? Of my bad, I don't say Bible, but encyclopedia.
You could be the Bible.
You know what I'm saying? and that's just because I've studied, like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of different rappers, a lot of things dealing with hip hop just in general. So it's there. You know what I'm saying? But so people just felt like, oh, you know, you should do something with that. And so I was like, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, let me try something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it just, like I said, it's just a good feeling, because it's something I can really, really relate to. It's really something I can put my heart into. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how. Yeah.
So what are your future goals for the podcast? Like, what do you want to see?
I actually wanted to see it do a few different things. I actually want to see it help catapult a lot of rappers from the Northwest. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully it's one of those platforms where, you know, people can be like, you know, what Gutta Caine did with CIRV'N IT RAW, you know, helped Northwest hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. The second thing is I really want Revolt TV to pick it up because, you know, you have a lot of different podcasts, but this one had, to me, I think a real good podcast is when it has a concept. Like when you look at Drink Champs, like Drink Champs has a concept.
Right.
Where Drink Champs, you come on that mug, you drink, you talk about different stuff dealing with hip hop or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's a concept. For Big Facts, I think has a, you know what I'm saying, a concept. Dunny Houston's podcast in H-Town has a concept. And I just feel like this one has a concept, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything about the name, CIRV'N IT RAW, has two different meanings.
Right.
You
so
know.
how did this name come about?
Okay. All right. So the name, it actually, so the name has, like I said, it has two different meanings. So one is, so the way I came about it was, I've always been a fan of Soulja Slim, and when he dropped "Give It to Him Raw," I love that title. I love that title. Out of all the titles I've ever heard from a rapper, "Give It to Him Raw" was like, I'm gonna give it to you uncut. All right. So I used to sell dope back in the days, and so CIRV'N IT RAW is like, can mean two different things. Like CIRV'N IT RAW, like meaning uncut, like you know, whoop a nigga ass, you know, you serving them raw, you know what I'm saying, or you serving it raw, like, hey, I got this, and you slinging dope. Or if I'm talking to you and I'm giving it to you raw, is basically the same as serving it to you raw, right? So that's how the whole name itself came about. Then on top of, and now the reason why I spell it like CIR instead of the regular serve, okay, is because my son's name is Samari.
Ours. Yeah, okay.
Lord Jesus. You supposed to be interviewing me, so you're not supposed to be my wife on this one.
It doesn't matter. Wife trumps all of that.
Okay. So our son, I'm explaining it to them. See?
Okay, they can know. It's
Okay,
our
so
son.
our son name is Sir. So plus you used to call me Sir.
Yes.
Okay. So when we named Samari Sir as his nickname, you know, we spelled it CIR because we wanted to put a C in his name, because all our kids either have AA, QQ, and we only had one other child that had C, so we threw in that other C to make it that way, right? So then, and then when you look at CIRV'N IT RAW, the actual name, if you break down the acronym for it, is CIR, you know what I'm saying, which is Sir. So, and then, you know, you created the word servitude, which means the winning state of mind.
Right.
So I just was like, you know, trying to keep it all together. And that's just kind of how it came about.
Okay. So, you kind of touched on this earlier when we talked about the amount of talent that's here in Washington, and it does seem to get looked over a lot. Not only here in Washington, but also, you know, in Oregon as well. There are some really talented artists, but people don't really look to the PNW for new talent. Why do you think that is?
I think it's mainly because the Northwest hasn't created their sound. They haven't found that sound. And I had thought about this too. When you look at all the other places that have a sound, it was all created by a DJ. The DJ all created a sound. So when you look at like hip hop, so hip hop was born August 11, 1973. Okay. By DJ Kool Herc. So when you look at that, what he did in Cedric, it's like that was the epitome of hip hop, and then you had other DJs like DJ Red Alert, you had DJ Grandmaster Flash. Like you had other DJs that created this hip hop, graffiti, b-boy sound that we know of. Mm-hmm. And then the rappers around that area started putting their own spin to it, but keeping the hip hop. And that's how you had the East Coast rap. Now, when you look at the West Coast, when you look at gangster rap, you're looking at Dr. Dre, which was a DJ, and DJ Quick, as well as Big Hutch. So from Above the Law. So when you think about the G-Funk, it started with a DJ, and then you had all these other rappers that got around that sound and created what you know now as gangster rap or G-Funk. Okay. When you go to Houston, look at Houston. When you look at Houston, you thinking Screw.
Right.
Which started from DJ Screw. DJ Screw started that sound, and then the rappers on the South Side, you know what I'm saying, band around that sound. Even though they were doing their own music, they still pushed that sound. And that's the sound that you know of and love in Houston. Okay, and then you have DJ Michael Watts did it for the North Side with Swisher House. You know what I'm saying? When you go to New Orleans and you think about the bounce music, okay, that was started through a DJ. I can't think of it. Yeah, DJ Jubilee, but you had another DJ which was Manny Fresh's dad. He actually started that, but then Manny Fresh was a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Look at Memphis. You go to Memphis. You got a DJ Paul. The 3-6 sound. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As well as DJ Juicy J. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So all these places had a DJ that created a sound. Even if you go to Florida, you know what I'm saying? Luke was a DJ. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? You go like, so exactly. You know what I'm saying? Or if you go to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? If you want to look at, even though crunk is a derivative from what 3-6 Mafia and them were doing in Memphis, the crunk sound from ATL, you got Lil Jon, who was a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, even Ludacris was a DJ. Like, all these, you know what I'm saying? But then the rappers, push that. And it's like, but when you look at the Northwest, what DJ in the Northwest has created a sound for the rappers in the Northwest to push out to the world? Exactly. Because I wait. Now, you've had other DJs, but you haven't had one to create a sound. Now, that's one issue that the Northwest has had. The second issue that they have had is that, and it's nothing against grunge, because I love grunge. I love Nirvana. You know what I'm saying? I love Kurt Cobain. That's my cat, man. Kurt Cobain. But grunge overshadowed the earlier raps of what you have in the Northwest. You know what I'm saying? So when you had Mix-a-Lot and you have Criminal Nation, you had all them, you know what I'm saying, Gangsta Nut and Mob Related and all those earlier rappers from like Tacoma, you know what I'm saying, from Tacoma to Seattle, that's trying to push out, hip hop to let people know like, hey, we got rap down here too. You know what I'm saying? It just got overshadowed with grunge. Now, me personally, I think if a DJ, or producer was to create a sound where you have a mixture of actual grunge and rap, and you have the rappers around it push that sound out, then you would have the Northwest sound, and that's where your creation would be at.
Yeah, I can see that. And we've had this conversation a few times before. Yep. And I actually kind of agree with you. Washington is it's white. Yeah. So, I mean, if you can get them behind you or to stand with you. Yeah. Yeah. We've gone to a lot of concerts, right? Mm-hmm. Bun B, Big Crit, Conway, Benny the Butcher, mm-hmm. Devin the Dude. And a lot of them come here and they perform and they're like, damn, we wasn't expecting to get love like this here. But you gotta Washington fucks with hip hop heavy. Yeah. They really do. Like, Conway's concert was ridiculous. Them white boys knew every lyric, jumping up and down crazy. Stove God came out.
Yeah, I was
really down. Like, it was ridiculous. I was standing there in amazement because I'm looking at these people outside like he must be in the wrong place.
Yeah, they knew all his stuff.
This man got a pocket protector on. But he was in there like getting it for real. And I'm like, Washington really has love for hip hop, like for real.
Yeah, and
it's also a melting pot.
Well, yeah,
you know, because I run into people all the time, and it's like I rarely ran into any that are actually from here, like natively from here.
Yeah, not too many. And the thing is like because it's so predominantly white as far as like if you stay outside of Washington, it can kind of give you a vibe of like, is Washington like Montana? You know what I'm saying? Or South Dakota or North Dakota. So you probably have rappers that be like, man, there's no reason me going, you know, to Washington or going to Oregon. You know what I'm saying? In their mind.
Well,
but
yeah.
I just feel like
it's not like that.
No,
Boosie, come to Washington, you would sell out. Okay?
I know, but yeah, I'm actually, you know, Kevin Gates has been up here, but you know, I would love to see like it's a lot of rappers that I would love to see like make their way up here that I know that don't, probably just because they feel like, oh, do I have a fan base up there or whatever.
Right.
But
yeah,
Boosie is definitely one for real.
Okay, so let's talk about some local artists. What kind of collabs would you like to see?
Local artists?
Local.
Easy EQ and this cat named Bacardi SS. I want to see them do something together. Let me see who else. Trying to think. One collab I want to see is already happening, which is LA White and Sinning. You know what I'm saying? They got a song called Ice. That's on Spotify. Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They got their little, you know what I'm saying? They got the Henny thing going. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I want to see them. Actually, they doing a whole album together. You know what I'm saying? They doing a joint album together.
Give us some mainstream collabs that you'd like to see.
Okay, so these three artists have already collabed before, but I would want to see like a joint album from them. Is Scarface, Ice Cube, and Nas. You know, they did a song called Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It. And I think that Face and Nas was on like the remix, but I want to see a whole album from them too. I want to see a whole album from Benny Siegel and Scarface. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because they were supposed to do something. But a collab that has not happened yet that I definitely want to see is Bone and Dr. Dre. I have not seen Bone do not one song with Dre. You know what I'm saying? Which is actually surprising to me. The fact that the whole Ruthless, Death Row, like being like right there is, if you think about it, they kind of the only ones that in that circle have not done something with Dre.
That is really something to think about. Yeah.
And shout out to Bone, because Bone is the only group in rap history to ever work with Pun, Eazy-E, Tupac, and Biggie while they was alive.
Right. And they have some great stories to have.
Yes. So I just want to put that, if you did not know, that fact is out there.
Okay. Well, now it is time. Gutta Caine, we need that top 5.
Need a top 5?
We need that top 5.
You know what? I'm going to do y'all something better. I'm actually going to give y'all my top 10. I'll give you my top 10.
Ooh, a gift.
Yeah, I'll give y'all my top 10. Alright, so the first one is going to be Rakim. That's going to be the first one.
So you're starting at number 1?
No, starting number 1.
Okay.
Sometimes it wouldn't be in no particular order, but this one I'm probably going to put in the order though. But okay. my number 1.
So number 1 is Rakim.
Yep. And that's only because Rakim, I feel like the way that we rap now, like just the way rap is lyrical with the multi-syllable rhyming, internal rhyming, all that stuff, I just feel like it started with Rakim. Like that's the
he's dope.
Yeah, that's the bird. Then my number 2 will be KRS-One. Be Chris.
Okay.
For his catalog, his lyrical ability, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like, 12, 13 albums, you know what I'm saying? And you can't have that type of catalog being on no boo-boo juice. So, you know what
He
I'm saying?
serves it raw.
Number 3 is, yeah, he do serve it raw. He do serve it raw. Nah, but number 3 would probably be Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
And I feel
I'm
like,
following you.
yeah, Big Daddy Kane, a lot of people take his style, you know what I'm saying? And, like, just that, you know, that Playboy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just the way he look, you know, with the high top, with the, you know what I'm saying, with the parts, yeah. You know, and actually, I just want to put out, too, that him and Chuck D, you know, Big Daddy Kane kind of overshadowed Chuck D doing that, like, that for that early year, Public Enemy doing their shit. But they were the first two to do that, like, that triplet flow, like that fast flow. But when you look at, like, 3 6 Mafia, Bone, they were the ones who popularized it. You know what I'm saying? Along with like Crucial Conflict, Do or Die, them right there. But yeah, they were the first ones to kind of do that triplet flow though. Actually, Chuck D was the first person I ever heard about doing. I think that was like in 87, 88. But you want to put it out there. All right, but now see, number 3 was Big Daddy Kane. Then number 4 is gonna be Nas. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be Nas. I personally think Nas is the greatest of all times. But I pay homage to people that did it, you know what I'm saying, before him and got him to a certain point.
As you should.
Yeah. And so, but Nas has the Bible for what you call hip hop, which was Illmatic. Period. Okay. Now, number 5, I would probably say, I give it to Jay-Z. I'll say Jay-Z.
Okay.
Jay-Z shows like this length of growth from how he used to rap, you know, because he used to rap with that like that sort of fast flow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of got to like more of a mafia standpoint, and then he started like
He's
really
definitely
got into grown to with it. Yeah.
So
I give Jay-Z 5. One thing about Jay-Z, I just want to put people out there, is I actually heard Memphis Bleak say that Nas was not a competition to Jay-Z, and I just want to put that out there that he is so far from that. Like that's not even a true statement. But Jay-Z is number 5, and then number 6 would be Eminem.
Okay.
Eminem, I listen to his older stuff, and he's not someone that I, you know, choose to ride around the hood.
Right.
No. But I don't take nothing away from
you got to give it up for his lyrical ability.
His wordplay.
He can do some amazing things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he definitely deserves to be.
I mean, period. And so, and then see, that's number 6. Then number 7 will be Scarface.
Okay.
Yeah. And then number 8 would be Ice Cube.
Okay.
Number 9 would be Lil Wayne.
All right now.
Yeah. Lil Wayne, see, people, I mean, even sometimes I even kind of be amazed by Lil Wayne, because if you look at Lil Wayne, every album that he dropped, I mean, you gotta understand, like, Lil Wayne came out in, like, what, 98? Yeah, okay. And then it's 20, you know what I'm saying? And then it's 2021, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, look at his catalog and look how much he's grown lyrically.
Oh yeah, for years that's all you heard about.
Yeah.
Wayne.
And then his sales, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all this stuff is like either platinum or gold, I think, except the like you know what I'm saying, Not a Human Being or whatever, but all the rest of that stuff. But it's like, yeah, you can't sleep on his content. And then number 10 for me would basically be Tupac and Biggie. I will put them two together. And the reason why I have them at 10 on my list is just because I always feel like their potential was cut short. That's the only thing. See, everybody that's above them, like some people be like, oh no, Tupac should be number 4. Tupac should be number 5. Biggie should be number 3 or whatever like that. But it's like, how I feel like, how can you put Biggie before Jay-Z? Even if you feel like at that time, Biggie was a better rapper than Jay-Z lyrically. But because Biggie's life was cut short.
Right. You don't know what could have happened.
You don't know what could have happened. So,
Right.
but Jay-Z has continued to grow because he's still alive.
Right.
So it's like you can't compare. Like if you want to compare, let's just say 94 Jay-Z or whatever, or, you know what I'm saying, to 94 Biggie, like, you know, you can do that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you're not doing that. You're now comparing, well, Biggie died in 97, so you're comparing what his potential was in 97 to a 2021 Jay-Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta move Jay-Z further up. But like I said, I always put Tupac and Biggie together. I feel like you know, even though Tupac wasn't the most lyrical, he was lyrical, but he put out a good catalog in a short amount of time. And it was a phenomenal catalog in his short amount of time. And he's made so many songs that he could still be putting out songs, and he's been dead for years. You know what I'm saying? But
And the songs still go hard now.
Oh yeah. But that'd be my top 10 though.
Okay.
That'd be my top 10. Yeah. So
That's a good solid 10.
yeah, I have some honorable mentions now. The only honorable mentions I would probably want to like start fitting in there is like Kendrick Lamar. I feel like he's somebody that eventually is gonna have to slide in there somewhere. Ghostface Killer.
Right.
Is somebody else that I feel like is underrated and needs to be in Coogee Rap. Yeah. So them three. Like Coogee Rap is somebody that I would probably put, like, if I had to rearrange my top 10 a little bit, Coogee Rap would probably be like right before Nas. So it'd actually probably be like, you know, like a Rakim, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, then Coogee Rap, and then
But
Nas.
you gave it how you gave it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
served
I'm
it
just
raw, and that's what we here for. So we getting toward the end, and you know, hip hop has lost some amazing talent, like we've already mentioned. Biggie, Tupac, we've lost Nipsey, Slim 400, Young Dolph, Pimp C, exactly, Mo 3, so many, DMX, like so many are just gone. If you could, who would you bring back? Who do you think talent was cut like so short that you just be like, we need them back?
That's a tough one. Because it's actually two people. One is a producer and then one is a rapper.
Okay.
So the producer in me would be like Jay Dilla. That'd be Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla is really responsible for a lot of the sound that you hear, like from Buster and Q-Tip. You know, just, you know, the whole Soquarius, like, you know, and I'm Aquarius, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Very
like,
much so.
yeah, so like that old, like Common, that old, you know what I'm saying, Talib Kweli, like all that earlier stuff that you love when you talk about like just that feel good,
Right?
Like, yeah, that's Jay Dilla. But then the rapper that I feel like would have like really turned up that I missed. It's Soulja Slim, you know what I'm saying? My boy Soulja Slim, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Boy Soulja Slim, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Soulja Slim, like I said, like he was, you know, him coming from Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you know, like I said, like they give it to him raw, like that name, that CD, just, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, then when I graduated high school, the first CD I got was his second CD. He came up with the Streets Made Me. You know what I'm saying, that one. And that was, like I said, that was an 01. You know what I'm saying. And so like when I used to do stuff, you know what I'm saying, with my partners down there, you know what I'm saying, that was like the, you know what I'm saying, like when we were doing illegal. Because I know we in the trap kitchen right now, but you know, we were doing our stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like that was, you know, we used to have that CD, you know what I'm saying, bumping. So, you know what I'm saying, shout out, you know what I'm saying, my cat named Ron, he gave me, his mama used to bootleg CDs, you know what I'm saying? So he had that one, he gave it to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got the new Soulja Slim. Yeah, so, yeah, Soulja Slim, man, love that cat, man, hurry up.
Yeah, I would say out of everything in this life, I couldn't see you doing anything other than music. Like, because you're just so into it. From the time that we met, you have just been music. Sometimes you get on my nerves talking about it.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't music, what else do you think you would do?
Probably the podcast, or I mean, just something.
Just when you were
just
talking about like
yeah.
current events type thing, or because I'm saying no music. Like if it was, if it wasn't for your love of music, what else? If you took music away,
probably cooking coke. Nah.
That's what I'm going to wear with you.
Nah, hey, you asked me a question, I gave you an answer. That was it.
Served it raw, okay?
I'd probably be cooking coke.
Well, that's all I got for you. This was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Nah, it's fun.
Hope y'all got to know him a little bit more about him.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to like I said, my family, my friends, you know what I'm saying, all the cats that supported me, that support the channel, you know, and the podcast as a whole. All the local businesses in Olympia. I also want to give a shout out to Stone, because Stone was the one that was like, when I was like really, like when I was down too on the music, like, yeah, man, I don't want to know about the music. He said, man, he told me, he was like, maybe you weren't meant to do music, but something involved with music.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so I was
shout out to you, Stone.
Yeah,
We love you.
I kept it in the background.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Sansaray. These cute little candles. She makes these.
Let me see that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. She made these. Like, that's crazy. These is tight.
Very cute. Yeah. Go get you one.
Oh, yeah. It's in my stories.
Let her know that we sent you.
Yes. She had bigger ones, too. Like, these are 20. I think these was like $20.
Yeah, I think you said the bigger ones were like 30.
30. Yeah, I think they either 30 or 35, but they were like the size of an actual shoe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but this is a candle. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I saw this one. I was like, what? Let me get this. Like, for real. Yeah. But so, yeah, shout out to her and Melissa, man. They really getting it. You know what I'm saying? I have the little thing at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So you can contact them. But yeah, but you know, hopefully, man, I just want to see I just want to see this really, really grow and really push out something. So
me too. I feel like you're in your lane. You're doing what you were meant to do, and I feel like I'm really hoping that this channel just brings a lot of different artists together. Maybe get some good collabs out of the deal and really push some good positivity out there. So, because, you know, the hip-hop community kind of has, you know, a negative aura around her at times.
Yeah.
And especially with a lot of the deaths and the artists that we're losing, you know, I hear comments all the time where people are like, oh, you know, hip-hop is killing people. But it's not the music, okay? And not all hip-hop is gangbanging music. You know what I'm saying? So it's a genre. There are a lot of subcategories under that, and so I just want to shine light on some of the other stuff that's going on. So yeah, you gonna get into it. You gonna do it. And again, I just want to thank you for allowing me to do this. It was an honor.
Oh,
I hope I didn't suck too bad.
I think you did good, man.
Y'all let me know in the comments.
Righty, y'all.
We out of here.
I don't thank you, little nigga, but I'ma show you how. Little nigga. Tell mama don't be mad how you.
If you don't know, money makers rule the world, so come with us.
I don't thank you,
Little mama,
but I'ma show you how.
little mama. If you don't know, money makers rule the world, math class scientific.